Okay, the recording has started.
All right, thank you, sir. Welcome everyone to the Fire Service Membership Council meeting for February. Let's go ahead and do a roll call, please, sir.
All right, Chairman Diehl, I have you. Doug Nelson.
I'm here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Brian Adams. Ted Black. Justin Sherwood.
Present.
Darcy Davidson is excused. Michael Desrochers.
Here, sir.
William Hyde. Edward Kaminsky.
I'm here.
Brandon Sullivan.
Here.
Kevin Lefebvre. Jonathan Lund. Oh, he's excused. Larry Medina.
Here.
Kelly Nicolello.
Here.
John Devine.
Present.
Craig Landahl. Brendan O'Sullivan.
Here.
And Michael Long.
Here.
All right, Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Again, welcome everyone to the meeting, and very happy to have another presenter with us today. Today's presentation is about it's stationary generators and the carbon monoxide poisoning hazard mitigation recommendation that came from a report from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Janet Beyer, who has since retired, but Janet, I will turn the program over to you.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. Would you like me to turn on my camera? I don't mind doing that, although I don't really like looking at myself.
It's totally up to you.
Okay. Well, now you see me. I'm gonna turn off my camera because I only actually have one screen now that I'm working from home, or I'm sorry, I'm retired and at home. So I'm gonna share my screen, and so I can share some of the materials here that I have for today's talk. And I'll get going. Okay. Okay, so yes, thank you for that introduction. I have written an article based on this report that you just introduced for the ICC Building Safety Journal. That I co-authored the report with two other colleagues who are still at the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. And as you said, it's about the carbon monoxide poisoning hazard that's posed by stationary generators. So in case anybody's not familiar with these, this is a picture of one. They're usually installed by licensed tradesmen in a fixed location outside either a home or some other building, so that when electrical grid utility supplied electricity is down, this kicks on and provides power to certain selected electrical circuits in the home until the utility power comes back on. So a stationary generator is usually, for residential settings, is usually powered by either natural gas or liquid propane. And like any combustion engine that burns fuel, it produces carbon monoxide, which is a toxic gas. So just a little further background on it. This is a picture from a installation manual that comes with a commercially supplied stationary generator that shows the installation distance clearance requirements. I'm sorry, did you have a question? I can't see my Teams screen, by the way. So if anybody has a question, just speak up because I won't see a hand raised or anything like that. But at any rate, so this shows distances that are provided in this particular manufacturer's installation manual, which is pretty typical. And these distances, which I'll point out here, is like 5 feet from opening from the enclosure of the stationary generator to a window, or from a exterior wall. This distance B can be 18 inches if that is considered a fire resistant or a fireproof wall. And so these distances are obtained from the NFPA 37. So let me see, I'll give you the, whoops, I'm sorry, I have to move this little taskbar here. NFPA 37, I'll highlight it here. This is the, I'm right now looking at the document, which is the article that will be out in the Building Safety Journal soon, I believe. And so, oh, just to point out, I'm sorry, did somebody say something? Okay. There's a link to the report here in this footnote, and then all the data that this report relies on is also available in this other link down here. It's a large document. I'll show you that in a moment. But anyhow, NFPA 37, which the manufacturers generally rely on, pulls distances from this NFPA 37 standard, which is standard for the installation and use of stationary combustion engines and gas turbines. So there is a standard, voluntary standard for stationary generators called UL 2201, standard for safety for stationary generator assemblies. It does address quite a number of hazards associated with the product, but it does not have requirements that address the CO poisoning hazard. So let's see, what else did I want to say about that? So what brought all this to light, why I'm discussing what's in this report, is a, let's see, I need to go scroll down here, is there was a Hurricane Ida that struck the greater New Orleans area in August of 2021. And we learned at the CPSC, we learned of these incidents through reporting that was in the local newspaper about the number of CO incidents that fire departments were responding to, were really inundated with from 911 calls. Hurricane Ida was, it made a landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, and it caused power outages to approximately more than 1 million customers. So when we learned of these incidents, our field staff contacted the Louisiana State Fire Marshal's office, which they graciously helped us acquire fire department reports and other sources of information from the responding fire departments on those incidents. And then we had our field staff conduct investigations on those when we were able to obtain, contact the homeowner that was involved in those incidents. And so the report and this subsequent article are really based on all that information that we acquired. So just to run through a couple things here, the most commonly identified stationary generator was a 22 kilowatt unit, power rating of 22 kilowatts, fueled by natural gas. When the manufacturer of that generator was identified, nearly all of them were by the same manufacturer, 54 out of 56 of them. I should back up. So we obtained information on 256 homes that made a 911 call about CO in their home during this extended power outage, and which in some places lasted up for over 10 days. 85 of those homes, it was documented, 105 of those homes was documented that it had a stationary generator. There were others where it wasn't specified. It was a generator of unspecified type, meaning either stationary or portable. So we couldn't distinguish without having successfully contacted a homeowner what kind of generator it was. In 85 of those 105 homes, it was documented that the CO alarm activated, and it's what prompted the call to 911. 12 of those homes had residents who had CO poisoning symptoms. One was admitted to the hospital for one night, and another resident was treated and released. It was also interesting that people had a number of respondents to our investigation noted that they had several extended family members staying with them just because their house was powered, had power provided by a stationary generator. And when the path that the CO took to enter the home was documented either by the fire department or included in documentation that the homeowner provided, most commonly came in through soffit vents, which are vents into the attic space that help with airflow, maintaining ideally healthy airflow throughout the house. So this is a picture of, and I should back up to say, for 29 of those investigated homes, the homeowner provided photos of their generator's installation relative to their house. And so this, I have some pictures here I'll show you. This is one of them where obviously it's outside of the minimum requirements from the manufacturer's installation manual, greater than 5 feet from openings, more than 18 inches from the wall. So that gives you an example of one of these incidents. Here's another one. Most of the homes that were involved in these incidents are single-family homes, but this was the second house with a second story. You can see the generator here. The exhaust is coming out the side, which I show here in the louvers on the left-hand side as you're looking at the side of the generator facing away from the house. And in this case, there was a brick wall several feet away from this side of the generator, and the exhaust deflected off of that and rose up to second story. And so they had CO in the house through those openings. In another example, this generator was situated with the exhaust blowing away from the house. The installation that I just showed you in this back picture, I'll go back, that's typical, where the exhaust is flowing alongside the house, not away from it or toward it. But in this case, the installation was with the exhaust flowing away from the house, and yet it still entered the house through soffit vents, and the homeowner theorized that maybe it came through closed windows. And the last one that I have here in the, at least in this article, is another generator with a different type of configuration where the exhaust, instead of having louvers on the end, it actually flows out from underneath the lid. There's a big gap here where the exhaust flows out, and CO was measured in the attic and came in through soffit vents on this patio. Well, it was over 25 feet away. So the point being with this is that the data that we acquired and have documented in this report, clearly shows that the minimum distances provided by the manufacturer are not sufficient to prevent dangerous levels of CO infiltrating into a home. And so that is a telling thing that we wanted to report on. And one thing I wanted to write this article for your journal is to help highlight this potential hazard. It is a hazard, and see what can be done about it. We came up in the report with some recommendations for both the UL 2201 standard as well as to NFPA, which I can go over in a moment, but I don't want to take up too much time here. I'm probably talking longer than I'm supposed to. But we'd like to raise awareness of this and see what action can be taken. This is not an isolated incident. We also have documented in the report that Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Texas while this report was being written. It came ashore as a Category 1 hurricane and caused 2.8 million customers in the Houston area to lose power. And we collected, for just the first 5 days of the power outage, we acquired fire department reports, and the power outage went on for much longer than that. But in just those first five days, there were 153 homes that had CO in their homes due to CO from their stationary generator. So we did, in the conclusion of the report, after that report was finished, we sent letters to both UL and NFPA to try and initiate some standards development work to address the hazard. I retired just after this report came out. I'm not, to my knowledge, I'm not aware of any action that's been taken by either of those parties at this point in time. But it's good to get the word out to the communities who are, dealing with these incidents. They happen during natural disasters, widespread power outages, and I believe it's a poor use of resources to have fire departments having to respond to these incidents, and more importantly, for consumers to be exposed to these CO levels when it's a preventable it's a preventable situation. Just needs the proper attention to get it addressed. So let's see, did I have anything else about that? So the pointing out, let's see, I think I went back to the article. This article does have the link to the raw data, so everyone can look through exactly how we came to these conclusions. And this picture is one of the incident generators involved. So you can download this document. It's 1,539 pages. So couldn't email it to you, but that link works. It gets you to a what do they call it, box, I think, where you can just download the document from there. So that's all I have at this point. Turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you. Any questions in the group? I saw Dwayne. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so it looks like in the conclusion it talks about getting the 5 to 25 feet away from the openings in the structure. Is there any way to, it looks like the exhaust vents aren't really in a exhaust pipe type thing. Any way to do that where you could do a stack above the roof level eaves or something? Any way to change that kind of exhaust on those generators?
Yeah, I think that's, and that's been proposed or been talked about as well. I think at that point, there really needs to be engagement with the manufacturers because putting exhaust pipe onto an engine can affect performance, back pressure. So whether, consumers can do that on their own, that's certainly their prerogative. But, and in fact, there was a case in one of these, that's how somebody dealt with it. They put their own pipe on there. Actually more than one, but I think for that to be a widespread solution, we'd need to engage the manufacturers in that conversation because that, is their product. And they may say, if you do that, it voids the warranty, that sort of thing. So I think that, it's a point where probably manufacturers should be engaged in the conversation as well.
Yeah, I just think with the construction codes, it's going to be difficult to not put the ridge vents in, the E vents, and then the other part with property lines nowadays being 5 to 10 feet house to house, it'd be very difficult to get to 25 feet.
Yeah, I can fully appreciate that. I mean, I saw from many of these incidents where homes have a very close setbacks from their neighbors, and you certainly don't want to create a problem for your neighbor. And so one of the other solutions, I didn't go into the recommendations because I didn't want to eat up too much time, but certainly the small engines that these generators operate off of produce copious amounts of carbon monoxide. So one solution is to have the manufacturers use engines that are designed to produce less carbon monoxide. And there have been engines developed that do that I think would be suitable for stationary generators. But again, and hopefully if that were the case, those clearances we're talking about in this report could be significantly reduced, I believe, or, may not apply at all. But again, that involves manufacturer engagement there, because that's definitely an issue for many communities, is not having the appropriate distance for a safe installation.
All right, thank you. Allison.
Hi, I appreciate the time to talk about this topic. I was not aware of the risks. I was curious on the next step. Is there any effort being made or anything being raised about including this at least in the IRC for 2030, the International Residential Code?
We did not make any proposal to as far as CPSC did not make a proposal to the IRC about that, but certainly that would be a good starting place. So no opposition to that being the case.
Thank you.
Kelly.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for the report. And I do work for Underwriters Laboratories. This is a point of information. I'll point out that UL 2201 is only for portable generators, not for engine installed. And so there's a difference there. And I would also say that the 2201s do have a CO detector built in, and upon reaching a threshold, will shut that down in its use. But it's only for portable generators, and it's not applicable to the engine-driven NFPA 37 generators that are out there.
Thank you for pointing that out, Kelly. I apologize because I misspoke in saying 2201 in speaking about that with this product. I'm intimately familiar with the portable generators, and which is why that 2201 rolled off my tongue, because I was the project manager.
No worries.
For that.
No worries.
So thank you for clarifying that.
There has been an attempt to try to move that into NFPA 37, but needless to say, there was a lot of manufacturer pushback. And so it never got to a point where it actually has made any headway yet.
Right. But now that we have this report because, and I didn't go into that either, but it is documented in this report. But that we've made attempts to, in the past, going back over 10 years ago, to address the hazard through NFPA 37. And they were rejected as out of scope because NFPA deals with the fire hazard, not carbon monoxide. So they did put some informational notes, but those are non-binding. And but now that we have some data here to chew on, I think there's you go back and you look at the manufacturer's presentation that was made at that UL committee, which there is a link to that in the report, by the way. I think some of those concerns can be addressed with this report. So
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Jeff, go ahead.
Jeff Shapiro, Fire Protection Engineer, Lake Travis Fire Rescue. So one thing I want to point out to everybody on the call here, because it's on the topic of carbon monoxide detection and poisoning, in Group A of the 2024 code cycle, there was a code change proposal F148-24 that I submitted that rewrites the entirety of carbon monoxide related regulations for the IBC and IFC for the 2027 edition. There were no changes made after CH1 to that change. So it is final. It's not subject to being changed in Hartford. And I would recommend that everybody, because there are jurisdictions out there, I found out a state yesterday that is looking at adopting the 24 edition of the code. And I just want to make sure that anybody who is either under or looking at the 24 edition of the code, I would highly recommend incorporating the changes that F148 makes to make it the code way better in terms of being able to interpret and apply the CO related regulations for new and existing buildings. There is a code change that will be heard in Hartford that relates to the scoping of the IFC and the ability to make CO detection retroactive to all existing buildings, including residential, that will be voted on in, there's actually two changes, one to the existing building code and another to the fire code that will be voted on in Hartford. And the EB change is recommended for disapproval. The fire is currently recommended for approval, but that's going to be a hot topic of discussion in Hartford to those interested in CO detection and alarm all the way to single family residential. I will point out that this issue was never raised in any of the discussion associated with rewriting F148. For the most part, that was intended to clean up and apply some interpretation to what was in the previous edition of the code in 21. But this has not come up in discussion, to my knowledge, in any of the talks that we've had in the fire code arena regarding CO detection and alarm. And the assumption, I think, has always been that the generators through their listing are sufficiently safe to deal with it. It makes sense, depending on atmospheric conditions, that soffit vents are they're designed to pull air in from the outside below the soffit. So if there's CO in that air, it's going to bring it into the house, and then it'll be distributed based on air movement in the house. So I do think this is something that could at least be partially addressed in the 2030 code cycle for the IRC and the other codes, that we could add a requirement that you would need to install CO detection in a home if you put in an external generator. And it doesn't seem to be distance sensitive based on what you've presented here. So that would actually be a relatively simple add-in to what was rewritten in F148 as a new code change. There's no way to do it in this code cycle. It's too late. But the two solutions to this are, one, find a way to eliminate the way that CO is getting into the property. And with soffit venting, unless you have a sealed attic, that's going to be pretty difficult to do. The other is to at least make sure that we provide some type of CO detection and alarm when somebody is adding a generator outside the property. So there are ways to deal with this, but unfortunately, none of them are going to be quick. And I do, to Kelly's point, and with regard to UL, the data, without looking at it, just based on your characterization, seems to be pretty compelling that there's a problem here that needs to be dealt with. And I wasn't aware of the issue, and I don't think many people are. So thanks for bringing it forward.
You're welcome. Thank you for that information.
Thank you, sir. As usual, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark Roberts with ICC's Fire and Disaster Mitigation Team. Being located here in Louisiana, I worked closely with the Louisiana State Uniform Construction Code Council, where they actually made amendments in response to what happened during Hurricane Ida. And their response was they tried to come up with a distance, which they could not come up with a distance to have generators be located, a distance from the house. So they just automatically made a requirement that any installation would require a system, would require carbon monoxide detectors in each bedroom and outside of each bedroom area. So, similar to the requirements for smoke alarms. Also, on top of that, legislatively, the fire marshal's office put a bill forward that required the sale, upon the lease or sale of every home or dwelling unit going forward, they would require at least one CO detector with a 10-year battery, no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's an all-electric with no generator, it doesn't matter. Every home had to have it. So anyway, I just wanted to bring up what they did here.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Always good information. Mr. Davidson.
Robert Davidson, Davidson Concepts. I just want to point out and Janet, let you know that the Fire Code Action Committee Energy Work Group, which I chair, the Fire Code Action Committee is going to start working here within a couple months, putting together what topics for next year's submittal. So you do want to contact ICC and be an interested party. I have a copy of the report now, and we can put that as a topic for the Energy Work Group to look at. And that would take care of the fire code, and the following year work with BCAC for the residential code. The other thing I would point out is people really need to read some of these manufacturer's instructions. I got involved in an expert witness case a number of years ago where somebody installed a genset right on their property line, 3 feet from the neighbor's house, and then within 5 feet of numerous openings with a zoning approval. And we actually back in front of the zoning board about why the heck did they approve it there. But in the manufacturer's instructions, it said if it's within X amount of feet of the openings on a home, carbon monoxide detectors have to be installed in the home. All right, so you may want to start going online and grabbing some of those instructions and seeing which ones already have that in there that it should have been addressed when they did the installation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Again, always great information. Anyone else? Not seeing any more hands go up. So again, Janet, thank you very much for the presentation, the information. As you can see, it started a great topic of discussion, and it will continue to do so moving forward. So again, an issue we needed to be aware of, and now we are. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
All right, moving forward, we'll go to any additions or corrections to the agenda. Not seeing any. We'll go to the approval of the minutes. You all should have gotten a copy. I know an updated version was sent out. So do I have a motion for the minutes?
So be it.
Second?
Second, Garris.
Thank you for the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, very good. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move into our work group updates, starting with our member engagement. Larry Medina, sir.
Yes, good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're at. We're moving right along, Phil. We're having some productive work group meetings. I have a draft form of our 2026 goals. Still in draft form, but I'll run them by the work group and Mark and get them forwarded to you, Chair, and to Christine. Other than that, I think we're set up pretty good for some good presentations moving forward here in the next few months. But from the membership or any visitors, if there's any great topics or subject knowledge experts to present, let us know. Thank you. And a report.
Thank you, sir. Like I said, always good to hear from. Our emerging issues and trends, Mr. Desrochers.
Good day, Chair Diehl, and hello, everybody. Kind of a short report, but we've done our 2026 goals pretty much completed here, so we'll get that up to you there, Chair Diehl. And our last meeting we had 14 folks on the call, and there's no shortage of topics that is headed our way in our group. I will add that we have a new form that has been created. I looked at the draft the other day. So thank you for ICC for helping us out with this new form. It's just fillable, and right now we're working on the other parts of this form, allowing people to submit topics to us. So we have the form. Now we have to figure out how we're gonna take that and track everything. But this sheet will need to contain pertinent contact info and various tracking categories that track from a new submission all the way until the closure. Justice Jones has been a great help with this, and Paul also, both ICC liaisons have really helped us out on this. So thank you to fine gentlemen. And then we have an aspect of having the public be able to take a look at this. So this is for the website where we can only, we list the topics without putting any personal information in it and so forth. So we are making some good headway on the emerging issue and trends, reporting, tracking, and being able to share this with other work group members. So a couple of hot items that we've been discussing here recently. One is the plug-in portable power generation devices. That is under there is a UL 3700 standard there. Maybe Kelly can touch on that, not to put him on the spot at all. But that item has been being debated in the work group some. Also, what we call portable nuclear power generators are also another item that the group has been discussing, and there's a couple more topics. So anybody that wants to participate in this work group, please let Chair Diehl know, or Christine, or send me an email, or let any of your ICC liaisons know, and we would love to see you participate in the group. That's my report, sir.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Yeah, again, moving forward with those issues and trends, and yes, that website has been a long time developing. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Next, into public awareness. Kelly.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Couple things is we have reviewed our goals for 26. They have been accepted by our group, and we'll be passing those on to you shortly, so you can meet your deadline on that. We also have discussed additional articles that we're interested in writing. One of those is solar generators, which is kind of the same subject Mike was just talking about. So that's going to be on our list, along with the potential one for data centers and another one on lightweight construction. So we will take these other subjects in the mix of what we've already got and reprioritize our listing for anticipated articles for this next year. And we'll start working on those as we can. And Mike, when you get a chance, if you can do me a favor, if you would, because I haven't been part of your meetings in the last couple months, but if you would go ahead and email me a copy of your list, so I can look at that list as to my list and see which ones cross over and which ones we may need to add as far as future articles are concerned. And also determine what audience we want those to go to, whether it's a fire service informational issue or whether it's a general public information issue. Because the way we write, it depends on which audience we're trying to approach. So that concludes my report, and thank you.
Yep. Thank you, sir, and your group. And yeah, there's the coordination between, all the working groups. That's what we like to see. I didn't see Chief Lund or Ted Black on the call from our training and education. I did see, I don't know, Sarah, if you wanted to say something with that group or not.
Sure, happy to give a quick update. We met on Tuesday as a group and worked through our goals for 2026. So those are currently being refined and will be coming to you, Chair Diehl, here soon. We also wanted to let you know that the fire code quiz has been posted. You probably got a notification from member community, but the fire code quiz is something that the work group has put together, and I posted a link on our discussion board as well as the Talk and Shop discussion board for the broader member community, just to see what kind of engagement we can get. So if you get a chance, take the quiz and learn a little bit about kitchen hoods this quarter. Next quarter, we'll be doing another quiz, and I believe we're going to be looking at a construction safety topic. So that will be cool. If anyone wants to contribute questions for the fire code quiz, feel free to shoot those to me in an email. And I think that's all we have for the good of the group today.
Mr. Shapiro, go ahead, sir.
Sarah, can you speak to Mr. Swanson's participation in the call today?
Does Mr. Swanson want to speak to his participation in the call today?
Well, I thought you might want to make an announcement. No?
I'm
Okay.
not
mind.
sure. Thanks.
Hey, Jeff, it's Carl. I'll jump in really quick. And John, are you on the call today? I'm driving, so. Is John
He is on the call. He is on the call.
John, if you want to unmute really quick and just let us know if your mic's working or not, I'll give you a quick. If not, we'll catch it on the next one. Let's go ahead and do that, Tim.
Very good. And we can pick it up there. And again, thank you for that. And yep, I like the little questions, and it's all interactive. So thank you very much. We'll continue on, moving into reports from officers and liaisons. And we start with our board of director liaison, Mr. Sean Toomey, sir.
Thanks, Tim. Good afternoon, everybody. Just a couple updates, reminders, the April Code Hearing and Leadership Week. Hopefully everyone's getting registered. That'll be attending that. It's coming up fast. Building Safety Month, ICC staff has been working hard to get the website updated. The proclamation information is available on the website at this point. It's a new webpage for the new code enforcement program, if you're interested in checking that out. As far as some deadlines coming up, the awards program submissions are, the deadline for that is March 15th. The application deadline for committee work is April 1st. There's a draft standard on spray applied polyurethane foams, ICC 1100, that might be worth checking out for some folks. And the last thing, just wanted to call some people's attention, if you haven't seen it, is some federal legislation, the Housing for the 21st Century, that may have an impact on some of us, depending on how that rolls out. But I know staff is trying to digest it. It's a couple hundred pages long, and see what the impacts are, but they are taking a swing at some code stuff from the housing perspective. So that's all I had today. I don't see any other directors on, but if you have any questions, please reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Great information too, as usual. Yeah, and I didn't see any directors on the call either. Current directors, lots of past ones. Appreciate that. We'll go to the report from the chair. Basically, like many of us, just kind of dealing with a couple of legislative issues. Many of us have legislators in session, so just kind of watching and monitoring those bills right now, besides just having an active work week. I know our vice chair, Doug Nelson, had to jump off to another meeting, so we'll just continue on and we'll turn it over to Carl and his staff for the staff liaison report.
Thank you, Tim. Hi, everybody. Carl Fippinger, Vice President, Fire and Disaster Mitigation at the Code Council. I'm driving today, and I send regards both from Ms. Vicki Pritchett, who I just dropped at the airport. We were both at a Congressional Fire Services Institute meeting in downtown today, amongst the first gathering of the international countries visiting in the President's Peace Summit today. So that made life a little interesting, transiting in and out of town today with all the dignitaries on the road. Christine is out today, and she is at a California Fire Prevention Officers meeting that we do along with CALBO, the California Building Officials Association. So it's a FPO, CALBO Building Fire Advisory meeting. So she sends her regards. I will tell you that I've been working very closely with Christine to get the details organized for our April meeting. We're close on a dinner location. If you have not submitted your RSVP in terms of your attendance, the meeting looks like we're going to have good attendance, but let's go ahead and get that done. Next reminder is, as Director Toomey said, April 1st is when we close the application process for the code development committees in particular. And I just wanted to highlight that for those of you who may not have heard yet, for the next code cycle, the International Fire Code Development Committee will be split out in terms of it had scope for the International Wildland Urban Interface Code previously. The International Wildland Urban Interface Code will now be heard by its own committee for the next code cycle. So we are currently soliciting folks to apply for that. And again, you have until April 1st. If you have submitted an application already and need to amend your application and change any priority on the committees that you're applying for, please let somebody from staff, including myself, know, and we will get you in touch with Russ Manning and his team over in technical services to make that all happen. So at this point, you can see that there are a few of us that are getting ready to kind of be on the road quite a bit coming up. These meetings that Christine and I are at today are only a reflection of some of the things we've all been doing together. We had a good fire disaster mitigation team offsite last week in Austin, Texas. Thank you to Jeff Shapiro for coming to visit with us for an hour and giving all of our staff a history lesson on some of where the ICC fire work has been in the past, and giving us a really good background on that to build on as we continue to move out in our second year with our team. Coming up, we've got a couple of big events that are happening. The Congressional Fire Services Institute Symposium and Dinner is in March, mid-March, over St. Patrick's Week. So we'll be doing that here in Washington, D.C. And even before that, we've got a couple other things going on. The California Fire Prevention Institute, or CFPI, is going to be in Santa Barbara, California. Coming up here, I think we fly a week from Sunday on that. So Christine and I and Karen Beebe will all be there for that. And I know our CEO, John Belsick, is coming out for that as well. So that'll be a good opportunity to highlight some of the great work that's happening here with the fire service. I also know that we've got a couple members of our staff, Sarah and Christine, are working with our tech services team to be code this year. So if any of you are going to Educode, take a look at the classes that they'll be teaching. They've been deeply engaged in that, and then a whole variety of things coming up after that. So those are kind of the near-term things that we're focused on here, and looking forward to hopefully seeing some, if not many of you, along the road through all of those conferences and events this year. So that's my update. Sorry I'm not on camera, just driving back from DC today, and we'll catch up with everybody soon. Back to you, Chairman Diehl.
All right, thank you, sir. Again, appreciate everything that staff does for us. We can't do this without you, and we've got the best team out there. I continue to say that. Move into our reports from membership councils, and go ahead, and Allison, something from the building membership.
Hi, thank you so much. Can you all hear and see me? Tim, can you guys,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure deal. So the Building Membership Council is working closely with ELMC heading into the spring leadership meeting. We are looking right now for volunteers who want to help between us, ELMC, and the honorary members to sign up to help walk people through the code development process. We have a lot of Code of Honor scholarships, hopefully this year. Encourage anyone who, I don't know if that's still open, I'll check, but we're looking for people who are familiar with the code development process, who are going to be there, who are willing to spend an hour or two of their time chatting with some of the newer folks and walking through like, hey, what does that mean? Why are they saying Me Too waves? Like all the stuff that if you've been there a bunch of times, you're very familiar with, but if you're not familiar with, it's very new. So we'll be, we're looking for signups so that we'll have enough people to host a chair there or a table there and have people walk through new people, get more people engaged. Thank you, Lisa, that the Code of Honor Scholarship was yesterday. So hopefully folks did apply for that. But that's the main thing we'd be asking for. We know we have a lot of dedicated fire service membership council members who will be at the code hearing. So if you're willing to take an hour or two of time, sign up and volunteer. That's our biggest ask right now. And then we're very much looking forward to the joint meeting with you guys coming up soon.
Yep, very good. We were just discussing that the other day. So yeah, looking forward to getting that on the books and coming up with a good topic. Moving into the Membership Council Steering Committee, and I'll keep Allison on the hot seat as the new chair. I'll kind of let you report out. I have some things to follow up in new business, but if you want to just give a quick report on that also.
Sure. Thank you to folks who are coming to those meetings volunteering. We have some goals this year that we're going to be taking a look at. Suggestions for any updates to Council Policy 9. I know that fire service played a critical role, and I learned a lot about how there are some things very unique to fire service, like your MOUs. Not to say that the board will definitely take those suggestions, but it's just to provide them after the Membership Steering Committee, being in our third year now. Wanted to provide that, as well as finalizing a guidance document that's supplemental to that says unique things like, hey, on fire service, we have these MOUs. On building, we have a sort of set of how many people we want minimum for representation from, that sort of thing, just to generally help people. And then the last thing I'll highlight is we did get a website update to the Membership Council's page that has instructions for how to join a Membership Council, which is something we've been working on. And we are finalizing 2 documents. One, what we're calling the Encourage to Join package, that's going to be both a paper and a digital option to get people who have never heard of membership councils or aren't sure how to get engaged, how to join. And then we're working on hopefully still working with staff to finalize this. When someone clicks that button that says join for any membership council, it will send an email to them that explains, hey, thanks for joining the membership council. It's a welcome package. And what you can expect is you will get emails about meetings. You can participate in these ways. I know a consistent theme across all of the membership councils has been the like, I signed up, but I'm not getting emails. And that's been that way as long as I've been participating. And so we're really hoping this kind of helps close the loop and help communicate some of that and bring everybody forward when we're engaged so much digitally, so that when you join a membership council, you know what to expect, you know how to get more engaged. And I mean, you guys have 65 people at this meeting, which is incredible, but not every membership council has been able to get that level of consistent engagement. So we're hoping those things are going to help serve all the councils jointly, which is, you know, the main focus. And that's it.
All right, thank you very much. Next meeting, I believe, is in March.
Yes.
Fourth
Our
Tuesday of the month.
Next meeting will be March. I would encourage folks to attend. There should be some updates on some of the things I've covered. I will put links in the chat for everything I've talked about, but it should encourage everybody to come, volunteer, join, hear some of the topics that are going on.
Yep. Thank you very much. Anybody from Global? I know they're doing some reorganization. Hopefully they'll be able to come back to us soon. Emerging leaders, I did see Lisa on the call.
Oh, hi, everybody. ELMC met last Monday. We've had some changes in the Governing Council with Cody Gunn taking a role at ICC. So he was our chair this year. I'm now the chair, and we got a new secretary, Vanessa Rodriguez from New Jersey. Let's see, our next meeting will be in Hartford. We usually meet later in the 2-hour window instead of immediately after steering committee. So if anybody's interested in stopping by ELMC and meeting some of the young professionals, we usually draw a pretty big crowd at those in-person meetings. So feel free to stop by that day. And then I guess the last thing is that we've posted our Vote for Your Codes videos on all of our socials. So I'll put the links to our pages in the chat, but please feel free to like those and forward them on to your coworkers and local chapters to get the word out. Again, kind of echoing on Allison's discussion about code development and the importance of people understanding how that works and getting involved.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Always great to see the emerging leaders. Shane was on earlier, but anybody else from sustainability? Anybody from PMG? All right. We'll continue moving on. Ongoing business. Does anyone have any ongoing business? Again, just a reminder, CFSI is coming up, as well as, our meetings in April. So definitely looking for both of those. You do see under new business, and Allison briefly mentioned these topics, but reminder, our Director Toomey, I'm getting ahead of myself. Director Toomey did mention the awards are open. Nominations for awards till March 15th. This is both for the Gaines Award as well as honorary members. So please be aware of that. If you have any recommendations, please get them submitted for any of the awards out there. Now I'll get into the participation requests that I have from this group, from the governing members, to have a couple interested volunteers serve on the governing committee's CP9 review as well as the guidance document review. You heard Allison describe both of these in her report. This basically would, the ask is for about a monthly meeting, maybe every other month meeting to review these documents, and they are important, both of them. Not only CP9 because that's where authorization comes from the board, but as well as these guidance documents for the other groups. As Allison alluded to, this has been a long time coming. We've been working on that steering committee for a while to get all the membership councils in one organization, one setting, so we can discuss what is impacting all the groups and exchange ideas. And that's what we've been able to do. So what I would ask now from the governing members is anyone that is interested in serving on one of these subcommittees, please email me or Doug, and I will forward your recommendation up to Allison as chair of the steering committee. Like I said, I'd like to have this, 2 people volunteer before the end of the month. Otherwise, you probably will see me come back and it'll be who's standing forward and who's not. Kelly, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go ahead and sign me up for CP9 if you would.
I can do that, sir. Not a problem.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. That's all I had under new business. Does anybody else have anything under new business?
Hey, Tim, it's Carl.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just 2 other quick things. I don't know if Janet is still on the call, but I wanted to first acknowledge that and say thank you to Janet Beyer for coming on today on short notice. We've had a really great opportunity to be able to work with her on getting some of this material into the Building Safety Journal as an upcoming article. So this was a really great opportunity for her to be able to come on and preview some of that for our members. And I was really excited to see that it generated as much discussion as it did. I was hopeful that it would, and it did exactly that. So please, again, thanks to Janet for coming on in short notice, and we will go ahead and get her plugged into all the different code processes and the folks that spoke up today. So thanks for that. And then the other thing is I've had a little bit of background communication here too, so I understand that John Swanson's back at his computer. He had to step away, but I just wanted to introduce John Swanson. Many of you know him from his time in the fire service and also at the National Fire Sprinkler Association, but John's got an announcement here and wanted to open that up to him to introduce himself and give him an opportunity to announce his news here to the membership council. John?
Thank you, Carl. My apologies, I missed earlier. Minnesota got heavy, wet snow last night, so I was outside clearing an ice dam. And if you're from the southern states and never have to deal with an ice dam, consider yourself fortunate. But my apologies, I had to step away there for a minute. But yeah, thanks, Carl. John Swanson, excited to announce that on Monday I start with ICC within their training education department. As Carl alluded to, my background is fire service, 8 years as a firefighter, 20 years as a deputy state fire marshal with the Minnesota State Fire Marshal's Office. And about 4.5 years ago, I joined NFSA. But my passion is number 1, the fire service, and number 2, training education. And I'm super excited about this opportunity to join ICC and looking forward to working with many of you. Thanks again, Carl, for the opportunity to introduce myself. Hope to meet some of you out on the road here soon.
Yeah, yes, sir. Welcome to the team. And I know that, we've been actively working with our training organization inside ICC to try to get some really important things moving over there. And I think you're going to be a key center of focus for us, particularly myself and of course, Sarah Carter and the rest of our team kind of moving forward. So we'll try to let you get settled in here before we start throwing stuff over the fence to you. But looking forward to the partnership and just a great opportunity to continue to grow the fire service presence here between technical services, the fire disaster mitigation group, and now, of course, having you over in training is going to be a huge plus. And I think that's going to send a very strong message to our members beginning here with the membership council. So thanks so much for joining on and looking forward to working with you.
Thanks again.
And I will echo that also and say welcome aboard, congratulations. And again, I'm looking forward to it also. And I see Mr. Shapiro has something else to say, sir. Go ahead.
Just sorry for the awkward moment. I kind of thought that his introduction was teed up, so I was surprised to not hear it, but I wanted to get it off the rumor mill and in front of everybody. It's huge success for ICC to gain somebody of John's caliber and have fire service focused training expertise in the ICC training division. So I think it's a great get for ICC to have him. And I think it's going to really benefit the fire service within ICC when we start doing more with training and education as things continue to grow under Carl's shop. I just wanted to ask, Mark, I emailed you the file with F14824. I don't have the ability to attach that in the chat. I was hoping that you would be able to do that in case there are people who want to be able to have access to that 2027 code text. I compiled what I believe to be the final text. And I just want to make sure that it's available to folks who would be interested in using it, which again, I strongly recommend.
Sure, Jeff, I'll take care of it right now. I just saw it. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, sir. As mentioned before, we are rescheduling our March meeting to March 26th at 1:30. That's due to CFSI, where many of the members will be there for that. I will take any other questions or comments from the audience. I'm giving Mark time to get that into the chat. Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, just for good of the order, for all of you who know Howard Hopper, in the code world, yesterday he announced he will be retiring from UL effective August. So he's been with them for almost 40 years and has been a great friend of the fire service. And I just want to put that information out there for everybody. When you see him, tell him congratulations, and who knows where we'll see him again. He's kind of old in the tooth like me, but we tend to still pop up every once in a while. So I just thought I'd pass that along.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we had heard those items also, and wish him well. Mr. Poppich.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to, I put it in the chat earlier, a link, but I did just want to let everyone know that the deadline for the needs assessment of the U.S. Fire Service was extended to March 15th. So if anyone can, submit that survey so we get an FPA, can kind of get an idea of where we're at as a fire service in our country and what we need. This is the 6th edition of the survey. Originally, the deadline was earlier in the year, but yes, it was extended to March 15th. So links in the chat, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments? Good for the order. Go ahead, Mr. Shapiro. Go ahead, Jeff.
Just one other interesting tidbit that might be surprising, interesting to the folks on the call. I don't know if everybody has heard, but the Attorney General in the state of Texas is looking at suing fire service or fire apparatus manufacturers for at least as I understand, they're investigating at the moment, looking at the loss of competition, the delay in delivery, and the price increases. It was a pretty interesting announcement that came out a couple of days ago. So you could Google Texas Attorney General Paxton and fire apparatus if you want to find that announcement on their website. A lot of people have been complaining about this for a while. I found it interesting that the Attorney General here decided to do something about it.
Yeah, that is interesting information. I appreciate it. Anyone else? Great. Once again, next meeting, March 26th at 1:30. Hope to see everybody at CFSI who is going, and we all get there safely and have a good time. So with that, motion to adjourn.
So be it.
Second.
Second, Dwayne.
Second.
Yeah, there we go. I knew somebody would come along somewhere. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will say motion adjourned. All in favor, say aye, which I'm sure we are. But thanks, everybody. Stay safe and take care.